Hello, I'm Galaxycentaur, and welcome finally to the next episode of Zone 91. And with me this time is galaxycentaur. She's never appeared in front of the camera before, but she has done the title cards for With Extra Happy since episode 5.
Yes. Hello, Josh. It's great to be here. I'm great, and happy to talk about this book from the 90s. I haven't read this book in 16 years. The Encounter, number 3 of Animorphs.
I was going to say the name of the book. How dare you?
Oh!
No,
I told you.
I never knew you invited you on a podcast.
Hey, you knew what this was.
No, I did. I have no clue. I've never heard your voice before. Now the thing is, she's actually really a goat, but that's why she's not showing her picture.
Yeah. The thing about that is, run away.
Run away. Yeah, if you run away and throw down sushi to distract me, I won't be distracted unless there's sake included. Then I'll forget about you. It's sort of like with axe and cinnamon buns. Me and sushi.
That guy.
Oh, good. And he has not yet appeared in the series yet. So.
Well, I think it's number 6.
No, he appears in number 4.
Really? Okay.
And number 5 is him trying to get home and that plane going to shit. Number 6 is the Animorphs trying to destroy, this one spa place that's a yurt front and the plane going to shit. I think that's really how the majority of the series can be described. Plane going to shit.
That's pretty much the whole series.
Yeah.
This is a terrible plan. I knew it.
Let's do it. Shut up, Rachel. You are not a good judge.
Rachel, no. Rachel, yes.
Yes. That's the series.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, but this, The Encounter is a Tobias narrated book and is really about him coming to deal with the fact that he trapped himself as a hawk and the repercussions of doing so. And also there's also this other really minor subplot of this yurt transportation ship and them trying to destroy it or show the world that it exists.
Yeah,
really
I found that
minor subplot.
I found it so super weird that was the subplot. That, we got inside an alien invasion ship and we were going to bring it to the eyes of the world, but that's a little tiny subplot and the whole thing was kind of revolved around Tobias freaking out.
This really showed, this is only the 3rd book in the series, and already we have a character trying to commit suicide.
Yeah, that was like, okay, so we're like, 30 pages in, he tries to murder himself a couple times, because he was going to crash into the wall the first time, and Rachel stopped him.
Well, the first time what happened was he was trying to crash into the doors of the mall, but people opened the doors just in time.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, so there was 3 times, because I know he was going straight towards a wall, because there was a construction area. He was going straight towards the wall, he was going to crash right into it, and then Rachel's like, no, and then that's when he decided to, okay, well, I guess I'll fly up.
And try to kill myself.
Again. Like, 3 times. And they never talk about it afterwards, really. They're just like, yeah, remember that time you tried to kill yourself? Okay, that was weird.
Well, he also, later in the book where he finds out that Alfinger is his father, I'm sorry for spoiling a book that has come out in the 90s.
What? I can't believe this!
Oh yeah, there's going to be spoilers because this is a fucking book from the 90s.
No, but there was some foreshadowing, which is kind of weird because I know she didn't think about it. She just added this in later with the whole Tobias' father thing. But there was some foreshadowing about him being his father. Like they had a special bond connection.
Yeah, I think I heard when Applegate wrote the first book, he wasn't really thinking of Tobias and Elfangor having a family connection. Like that just was a good coincidence that happened.
She's like, well, he seems a little sad. Well, let's spice him up a little bit. He's gonna be part alien. He's gonna have his bird. Shh. Okay, she left. I got distracted by the bird. And yeah, I guess like he was too out of the way, probably because he wasn't with the other. He's not with the other Animorphs besides Axe. So I guess she's kind of like bring him in with the whole. He's part Andalite, even though he's all human.
Well, he was conceived when Andalite was in Human War, so.
You know what? I'm just gonna be like, you really think? It kind of makes me think a little bit. Like at least one time, I don't know. Like how far into this was he like decide to morph permanently to Nothlit, Elfangor? Like,
Elfangor, by the time that Tobias was conceived, I think he had just permanently done Human Morph because it seems.
I'm just saying that it's not they're probably humans being humans. They're probably a little adventurous beforehand, before it became a Nothlit.
Oh, you're talking about some alien centaur human action.
That's what I'm.
Okay,
I know my species. All right.
I mean, more. There needs to be something else about coffee.
Okay. So,
I just woke up an hour ago, and now we're going on to interspecies sex, which is a great topic, but still, it's.
This is a good segue for one of the things I screenshot. Okay. I heard this thing. It says others are going to ream us out big time, aren't they? I said. I'm just gonna be like, excuse me. This is a kid's book. 16 years ago, 20 years ago. Do you understand what that phrase means? And I had to Google it to make sure that I knew that it was correctly, like I knew what that phrase means. You want me to read what I Googled?
Yes.
It means to widen a hole, make it larger, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't just write that in this book. Poor 9-year-old me. So, okay.
Oh yeah, but alien genocide, totally different.
Yeah, that's okay. You can't say reamed out big time in a kid's book. Come on.
Well, it's a little common phrase of just.
It could be a common phrase, but you have to know what you're saying and you have to know what things mean.
I know, but still, it's like basically get in big trouble.
It does. That's what it means, but it's like that's the.
This because you want to be alien.
That's
it
like
doesn't
saying
mean it's a sexual line, you pervert.
No, it does, because it means it's like tearing you a new one. It's weird.
I'm not going.
It's not right, I say.
I'm not here. No.
I'm calling you out, Kay Applegate. Calling you out.
Okay, we're going to try to keep on a little outline. So, I actually have spaceship as the third topic for this episode.
Okay, I think that's my next one. So let me know when you're ready.
Okay. That's fine. My mind, no.
I'll wait.
Okay. We're going to be talking about Tobias' journey of accepting himself.
Okay.
Not in a gay way yet.
Okay. I will withhold comments about that for now.
Oh, I feel I can barely go.
Okay. Well, Josh just calming down. You good? You ready? I can go if you need a few minutes. If you need a glass of water.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's my little. Then Bob the desk king is there to calm me down too. Okay, Tobias. What I see number 3 The Encounter as is Tobias learning to accept himself as a hawk. I'm sorry, learning to accept himself as a hawk. He makes his first kill. And when he makes his first kill, that is really horrifying because he tries to run away. He's like, oh, god damn it, I don't have legs.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to live in this world anymore, tries to kill himself. Then lives 3 days as a hawk. And then saves a guy from Pork Bajir. Yeah.
I think this part of the story, it's about his revulsion of animals, is what I see here, because he does not want to be like a hawk. He is scared of being more animal-like, and it's not because he has some sort of kind, tender heart. That's not the focus here. He never once mentioned anything about that. It's because he doesn't want to be a lesser animal.
I think he's afraid of losing his identity.
He's humans have supremacy on the planet, and that's kind of what he's grasping onto here. And he was able to relate more to obviously animals that he is, like the hawk that he freed. He freed a hawk.
Yeah.
That he later got killed. But anyway.
Oh yeah, that's a lovely time.
That's because he had like a direct link. I think it says right in the book, like, she should be free, or hawk should be free. So,
that's his hawk
other than that,
really getting on to him, because he's sort of like him, because that hawk part of himself, he wants to be free, and so that's easier to connect to a red-tailed hawk, because that's what he is, and he can see that I would hate to be trapped, so I'm going to free her.
There is a new song that came out from the Peter Pan track. I don't know if you've heard it. It's Lost Boy. It's called Lost Boy, and it's like, oh my god, this is a Tobias song. And with Josh's permission, at the end of the podcast, I like to play it.
No,
so you can cry.
I'll post, I guess, a link to it. I'm just afraid of the YouTube copyright.
I mean, it's the official video, so.
I'll tell you near the end how to put a video on here.
Okay.
I'm just, YouTube and this YouTube content strikes and such. It's something I live in constant fear of, and that ever since WTFU, Where's the Fair Use came out, people suddenly started making a big deal. Like, this has been a big fucking deal for years. And so, okay, now, that's the YouTube drama. Let's go back to the Animorphs, which is nice and lovely, and you're providing lovely background music.
Breaking up a little bit.
No! Yeah.
Okay.
So, words, things, thoughts. So, why do you think Tobias decided to free the hawk?
Tobias decided to free the hawk because she was trapped and he felt trapped, and they had that connection of both being hawks. So, that's why he did. It's kind of weird he decided to do that on live TV instead of waiting like 10 minutes, but whatever. Okay.
Well, Tobias might be one of the more rational-minded Animorphs. He has his bad days too.
I never seen him as that, but I guess the evidence is there.
I mean, he was the one, like, in the first Megamorphs book telling Marco and Axe, this is a fucking retarded idea.
Oh, by the way, now we know what happened to Tobias after Rachel was killed. Spoiler alert. I think it's pretty clear because it says it has a precedent in this book. What happens when he was upset? He flew away to people never really saw him again, and it seems to me he just flew away to be a hawk because it's easier just being a hawk than thinking about all the sad stuff in your life. So there you go, mystery solved. That's where he is.
Well, it's
You're welcome, Vandalites.
I have my own version, but we won't talk about that today.
Okay.
Okay, I need to get on to the next chapter of Animorphs, but that's really actually heartbreaking for me. Alright, God damn it, I didn't post the thing on Patreon. Sorry. I start thinking about one thing and then all my responsibilities just come flooding back. So yeah, Tobias does escape in the hawk mine and tries to, or as I say, for 3 days tries to live as a hawk. And it's sort of heartbreaking when he's living like a hawk because he keeps on mentioning, bye car! Like he mentions bye car. He mentions that at night the human side of him is trying to get back out. Like it keeps on trying to speak to him, but his hawk mind is overriding it.
Well,
and this is a kid's book.
Yeah. He's like the saddest character.
Emo hawk.
He's like a emo hawk, yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't come out with that term.
Aw, he's a factory of emo-ness to be. Even his picture from the 90s, like, and this is on the cover. This is a misleading picture here because it has him morphing into a boy, and we know that he is currently trapped as a hawk forever for the rest of his life. So this is like a cruel joke on this cover.
No, he's morphing from a hawk to, from a boy into a hawk.
Yeah, he can't morph at this point.
I know, but still they had to do something morphing on the cover.
Oh, they had to keep the theme.
Yeah, the theme.
Sure, Tobias saw this 20 years later and was like, well, I guess things kind of worked out later on. Because,
because things will be mentioned later.
Yeah.
You want to read book 13 and hate the Alchemist? Do so now. Oh god, I already have a design on my cafe press that's fucking like Pride, and maybe I need a fuck Element shirt.
Is that you? I saw that.
Okay, hang on. If you're in the group chat, the Google Hangouts group chat, if you can find that, I will send a link. If not, I will send a link later. Just somewhere you are. Yeah, I know, fucking like Pride.
Yeah. But it's the same old thing. It's because this is written by somebody who's in that type of system, but in my view, it's exactly the same thing as York invasions. Yorks have to invade because what choice do they have? Either be blind, deaf, and helpless, or invade, and no other species is going to help them. I could get into this, but anyway. Basically, Tobias decided the same thing. Tobias was like...
Before you continue, I just want to say with the latest episode of With Extra Happy, Kat and I did discuss Zero's kindness, so... Yeah, after you're done watching this video.
You did what?
I did an episode with Extra Happy on Zero's kindness.
Oh. Yeah.
So continue, Carly.
That. So, Tobias, he made the same decisions as York's made because they're following their instincts. They're trying to, they're trying to survive. But they have a choice ultimately. Tobias, they have less of a choice than Tobias does, to be honest. So it's actually kind of an upsetting book. It's an upsetting book for many reasons. Huh?
Why do Yorks have less of a choice of what to do with Tobias?
Well, I mean, at this point of time, Tobias, you're right. Tobias does not have as much choice, but later on he does. However, later on, I would say Yeerks have less of a choice because they'd be blind, they'd be deaf. I'm counting my fingers, but you can't see it, and they're in constant fear. They're in constant fear of the Andalites killing them. If they show any weakness, if they give up, they're probably going to get genocided straight out of it. I mean, for real. So they have much more to lose. So.
And then I would also say
I think they're more justified.
Also have society. Like there's when you see a number 19 with Astrion, who should have totally been used more. That's a rant for another day. Is that Yeerk society has made so that the common Yeerks can't really think outside the box, can't think of another solution.
Neither can
it's basically
humans.
Always this way.
That's a good point, but neither can humans and neither can Andalites because they never stop to think, well, what if we actually did this in a different way? Okay, the Yeerks, some Yeerks betrayed you, and then if some Yeerks, betrayed them, pretty much that means the whole species is screwed, and they have to keep going in that direction because the Andalites are not gonna forgive this. So they've been kind of forced into this path. So if you think about it, nobody really has a choice here.
We're all just puppets.
And I'm kind of a little disappointed in how they depict villains. Villains aren't like, I'm a villain. Villains think what they're doing is right, but what can you something to expect from a kid's book? Well, actually,
things do become a hell of a fuck more complicated as the series goes on.
Yeah,
everything.
But
there's still villains to be villains, but there's also a good cast of villains who think they're doing the right thing, and then heroes that cross the line and think they're doing the right thing.
Well, let me just put it this way. Everybody's somebody's villain, and a villain is somebody's hero.
Except Bishop.
It's just your perspective on it. It's your perspective on the matter. But that's why the two-dimensional of Mr. 3 is kind of like, okay. I understand. I'll forgive you, trash mother.
He's a captain. Wait him.
Okay.
Let's be about more questions than words. Think it, Josh. Think. What do you think about when he words, people, things? What do you think about when Tobias tried to commit suicide? What do you think about his reaction?
His reaction to what?
Committing suicide.
Oh my god. He was out of his mind with the brief. And I'm like, oh wow, like you just went from him, you kind of don't see it coming, and then like Marco comes through and like they say in the book, in a really big way. And I'm making this about Marco, but it kind of shows that he really is there and he cares for his friends.
And Marco is here the guy that's like, I don't give a shit about you. What the hell are you doing? Do you want to get yourself killed?
Yeah, that was some quick thinking. But yeah, that was kind of like, what did I just read? He's just trying to kill himself again.
A kid's book.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, this poor child.
Yeah, I'm suicidal myself, so yeah, it's having, my favorite character attempt to commit suicide. I remember rereading the book for the first time in years. I'm like, no.
Aww. And then Rachel's like, what were you doing? What would have happened if you kept going? And he doesn't say anything. So I guess everybody figures.
Rachel, you're not straight. You should fucking know what happens when a bird goes flat. That's
He's
the
like, I would have
only
done
way
it,
I
Rachel.
can.
What do you think?
It's just, yeah.
What's
That's
the
the only way
symbolism?
we can cope.
What do you think the symbolism is? Am I getting ahead of this about what happens
No,
to the hawk, the other
okay.
hawk?
I think we're sort of like using the outline as a guideline.
Like he freezes, he frees
Okay.
the, he frees the hawk, and because he's trying to accept himself as the hawk, he frees the hawk. The hawk is murdered, and so what do you think that means?
I think
Kind of.
the whole sexual subplot is another. As I said, this whole book is about Tobias coming to self realization about himself, about where he fits into the world, and the hawk, the female hawk, is an external pull of the hawk side of his mind. Is sort of a personification of that side of him. What, if he could just let go and forget about everything. And so he ends up deciding to be human, and there can be no happiness in the Animorphs, so he dies.
Basically. God. Why? Sometimes I think that we're exaggerating a little bit, and then I just reread this book and I'm like, yeah.
No, we're not.
No joy. No happiness.
We get so much in pain that we're just make jokes about everything, about genocide, about cannibalism. It's like, that's the coping.
So the Draken beam sheared off her wing, which cut her freedom, plummets her to the ground, and obviously, well, they're all going to assume that she's dead, but so we'll just assume that she's dead. So basically, she's the allegory. So her freedom cut down. She can't.
You cut out for a second. Hello?
So let's cry about that for a little bit.
Oh, okay. You cut off like really near the end of that sentence.
Oh, I just said let's cry about that.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's like, so her being disabled and, pulled down to earth could be a symbolism for Tobias going back and fighting the war, and he's pulled down, or we could just be overthinking this shit.
No, there's no freedom for Tobias.
My poor baby!
Oh my God.
Baby!
Okay. Why did you do this to us? Why?
I thought, if you ever want to know why I'm so fucked up.
Okay, he manages to get a friend eventually. That's his own uncle.
That he doesn't know yet.
My uncle is my friend. God.
Wait, you're my uncle?
That's even sadder.
My only friend is my uncle.
My uncle thinks I'm cool.
My autobiography.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
I don't know if I can ever move on.
He's gone. He got shot back down to Earth.
Okay. Okay, after we did Tobias's journey of accepting himself, the next thing marked down was whatever paragraph Galaxy wants to talk about. And I believe we covered that before we talked about Tobias's journey.
Okay, here's another one. So, because I screenshot this so I would remember. Okay, so he's like, let me read this. He's talking about Marco. He says, Marco and I will probably never be very close. He's a typical smart aleck kind of guy, always confident. Always has some funny or sarcastic thing to say. He's short, or at least he's not very tall. I guess girls think he's cute because he has his long brown hair and dark eyes. So here he is, admiring his hair and his dark, soulful eyes. And it kind of seems to be lamenting the fact that they're never going to be very close. And
Were you about to say laminating?
lament.
Yeah, laminate something like.
You know what? Fight me, Josh. Fight me.
Okay, little goat.
Let's go.
Go.
Ah. So he's lamenting. He might be lamenting that. I think they do get a little. Well, they have to get closer because of all this. This is only book 3, so I guess they pretty much have to be getting closer through all the stuff they go through because Kay Applegate is a monster.
Yeah, I find that sort of. As we're talking about how Tobias is commenting on Marco, I'm just going to say, whenever Jake talks about Rachel and goes, but I don't think of her that way, I'm like, is that incest or is that just they have to get that description in every book? Because it's like, that's like incest. I would totally tap that ass, but it's cousin, so, I totally don't have those feelings.
It is weird. That's true. It does seem to show up. Even in the Axe books, he's like, yeah, they say that Marco's cute, but I totally don't see that. Nope, I'm hetero.
Hetero. Totally hetero. Goats hetero.
Yeah, seems a little. They're probably just like, Catherine, you need to tone this down a little bit. Fine, but I don't think of her in that way. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, that covers it. That covers it, Catherine.
Totally covers it. So, the thing with him commenting on Marco, I think Tobias is bisexual, so I think he's totally thinking about hitting that. But there could also be an argument made that he was commenting that because of, that needs to be in every book.
Well, actually, I don't think I remember anybody commenting on dark eyes for Marco. I know they say he's cute and he has long hair a couple times, but I don't think they mention his dark, beautiful, soulful eyes. So.
Okay, point to date, bisexual Tobias.
Tobias, your gayness is showing.
What?
I said Tobias, your gayness is showing.
It is showing. Where? Yeah. Yes.
I have another screenshot. This is totally different to what I was talking about.
Really?
Totally different.
Totally.
Yes. So Cassie is morphing. I'm minding my own business, reading how she's morphing. And it says, all over her body, the fur replaced the bright pinks and greens of her leotard. I'm like, 90s! Screaming in my head. Because that's terrible. She's 90s, because she's wearing a bright pink and green leotard.
Well, no one ever said Cassie had good fashion.
Actually, I think they said the opposite, but I'm like, why do you go, what? That's kind of, first of all, it's kind of bright and distracting, and I think that's kind of counterintuitive to what you're trying to be when you're in your morphing suit. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But
Rachel
that's
probably reassuring afterwards the corrector.
Rachel later went home and wrote a 10-page diary about how Cassie was wearing green and pink leotard and how it affected her emotionally.
Rachel probably would do that.
It's like, why'd you do this? God. So this one,
to do my best, but then no.
that really struck out as a 90s moment for me, right in the face. And now let's see what else I got here. Oh, I found something that was pretty cool. Marco is talking about getting into the ship to expose them, and that this is a good weak point. What he's doing, what he's talking about, which the reason I think is cool is in activism we call it rubbernecking, or bottlenecking. Yeah, bottlenecking, because it's like a narrow point. So you choose like that weak spot, and I'm like, wow, he's really good at this. This is only book 3, and he's already like got his.
I'm sorry. Once you start saying necking as we're talking about the shit, I just
No. Yeah, no, this is different. I'm pointing my soda disappointingly at you. No, this
Really?
bottlenecking. He's so.
Yeah.
What Marco could be a pretty good leader by himself.
I
He's pretty
think
strategic.
he's the strategist of the group. The one that, even when he doesn't care about fighting, is always there to go, what the fuck? Seriously, what the fuck? We're going to be doing some stupid ass shit, but I think this is the best way not to get us killed. I don't really know if him being the leader would really work out. Jake, I think, cares more about the war from the beginning. While Marco sort of tags along,
Rachel
but kicks his butt.
Rachel and Jake will be like whispering to each other, like, what do you think about this plan? And then Marco will just be running like across the field, and he'll like do a slide in. He's like, that's stupid.
I'm just seeing him holding this big
You're an
folder. I'm just seeing him doing that while holding a folder of papers that are flying out as he's running and then sliding. That's stupid, and here's why.
Oh, Marco.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so he definitely strategicness does make a good leader, but there's also other qualities.
Yeah, I don't know if he could handle the pressure, like Jake could barely handle the pressure of being a leader. It's kind of weird that they all just assume that they had to have a leader, though. Be individualists.
Yeah, but
Co-op.
Go. I know when I'm doing
hierarchy.
I know when I'm doing trash talks and I have I prefer having a nice list of co-hosts and guests, just so I do less talking. I have to be less amusing. It's like, okay, I have 3 other morons to do shit.
That's me.
And then I just have to reel them in every now and again.
Okay, so that's pretty much everything that I wanted to remember. Maybe something else, but I thought I would remember it, but I didn't, so.
That's what sometimes I'm about to do something. I go to do it, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Maybe I'll remember later.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, oh shit.
Okay. So, I'm done with that. So we're going to the saddest part of the book.
Oh, did you want to do more expound upon the gay shit?
I don't know, I just think that you came up with you made a good point about how they have the same descriptions in every book, but it does seem kind of weird that the eyes thing is specific to Tobias. That book of what he said.
Like, yeah, I'm totally hetero. His eyes are so lovely in a hetero way. Yeah, totally. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Totally, that's.
Oh, don't, Tobias. I'll catch you. I'll catch you and I'll expose you.
Tobias exposed. But I think Tobias, when he goes for guys, he always seems to have this hero worshipping to him. Like he really admires Jake, and Jake was one of the only people that was kind to him. And there's hero worship there. And then with Marco, I think in book 3, he starts to hero worship Marco for, I think, well, I'm going to simplify this and just say that he starts to like Marco more in this book. First of all, Marco saves him from committing suicide, and after, Tobias has recovered, he'll, think about that more clearly of, hey, this friend rescued me. That was actually really kind. I'd be dead if it wasn't for him. And also, Marco's the first one to treat Tobias like a regular member of the group. He doesn't he doesn't tone things down for him. He just says, stuff, and then people are angry, but Tobias is like, I'm part of the group. You know, I don't feel as much of an outsider because Marco is being an asshole to me, and he's an asshole to everyone.
You know, Marco is pretty emotionally intelligent, too.
Yeah. He just hides it.
Yes, I think he's probably on the same level as Cassie as being emotionally intelligent. He really has all, he's the whole package. That's why Tobias loves him.
Package.
Enough!
I can't! You start this episode out with and like human sex, and then you're like, oh, she'll totally be more adult later.
I will always advocate interspecies relationships for aliens. Sorry.
What about humans and hork-pajiers? Because hork-pajiers are fucking sex.
What?
Hork-pajiers are
Yes.
sex.
Oh my god. Yes.
Yeah. I think hork-pajier and then xenomorphs are really two of the sexiest aliens.
I have a whole species got a little bit based off hork-pajier and in my own original writings, and it totally human. Yes. Aliens only. Aliens only.
These are the friends I hang out with.
Yes. Oh, or dragons.
Oh, God.
Aliens, dragons.
Dragons can
Anything else mythical?
What? What?
Wait, you can't hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, I was thinking, is there anything else mythical? But I don't really think so.
Mythical. I mean, dragon. Well, I'm going to first talk about dragons, and then I'm going to go on to the next mythical creature, and then we'll actually continue with the podcast. But dragons, I mean, there's so many different versions of them in mythologies. Then you have Dungeons and Dragons, you have Light Rising, you have Dragon Cave, and so there's a lot of variety there. I can see all my shit.
I figured it out.
We should have done this before. This should work before the podcast, because every time I hear a new voice or see a new face, I'm like, how do I react?
Hold on. I need to get my angles. Hi,
You look very beautiful. You just transformed into a human, didn't you?
Now I can't make rude gestures behind your back.
It's okay. Sorry. I can go like this. I don't care.
But as you were saying about dragons, you're correct. There's many different kinds, but I only think about one, a certain path of dragons. I'm not headcanoning anything different.
Well, if you're asking, I don't know where the fuck that accent came from, asking about mythical creatures, what about shapeshifters? Because they have a whole range of things to go through.
And that's where I think a lot of the freaks from Animorphs come from, because they can morph a lot and do weird things. Think I don't know? The goat knows. The goat knows.
I need to get you some moves or whatever it's goat, so if you ever turn a podcast again, you can just the hose. God. I think of someone making a little fursuit just of, a goat, and so that's how you'll look.
Okay, let's reel it back here. So the reason we're talking about dragons at all is because that's what hork-pajier kind of look like anyways. I'm just saying. They're reptile-y and sexy.
Sexy as hell.
It's okay. It's okay, I'm Ace. I could say
it. I just love it when people are like, oh, I'm this or that, so it's okay if I say that. No, it's truly not. It's on par with I have a black friend.
I have no black friends.
But Jocker Lee is a black guy, so I do have at least one black friend. I have one.
You got one Indian friend too. Not the.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to ask.
Not the one, but the The Native American.
I'm sorry. That's all I saw.
Not the real
Native
Indians,
American.
the Native Americans.
They were only called Indians because Columbus thought he had reached the West Indies.
Because the murderer Christopher Columbus thought he was in India.
Yeah, and he never actually reached America.
The demon, he did reach America. He reached.
No, he didn't reach Florida. He didn't reach the actual continent.
He reached the Caribbean, which were my people, the Tainos. Let me bring you into a history lesson in this Animorphs podcast. But he went to the Caribbeans and killed all the Taino Indians. That's the Indians he all murdered, which you will never know about because people say that the Native Americans, they think the ones in the main continent and not the little islands off of it.
I knew Christopher Columbus never set foot in Florida, but then people like to act like no, he does. And it's like no, the history opened my eyes. He didn't like Columbus Day, so he would complain about it every year.
I hate it. I went to Dominican again in this Animorphs podcast, and they have like a huge statue over to him, a memorial. I'm like, like he enslaved all your people and murdered everybody. But okay, cool. Like, get it together, Dominican Republic.
I can't comment. I'm white. Okay, back to the actual podcast. Possibly. Don't worry, Josh Talks is usually made up of thousands of tangents, and then we somehow get through an entire podcast.
And anyway, that's why Tobias is gay.
Okay, what's the scariest and or saddest part of the book for you?
Now that I think about it, I think the saddest part is when the allegory for the She-Hulk to be murdered because, well, the Hawk died and he went to go save her, but it's also showing that's his life now. That's him. He'll never be happy.
Well, he's an animal, so that's the first clue.
Yes, he should have just stayed with the Hawk and just had her as a girlfriend and raised little baby hawks and
but he would never actually be happy though, because as he was saying in the night, that really affected him.
The what affected him?
This the human side keeping on trying to come out affected him. He couldn't shut it down for those times. He'd never be happy no matter what.
Just turn it off. Like a light switch, just give it a flip. It's a neat little Animorph trick.
I'm out. Her podcast.
I think he does raise some chicks, doesn't he? At some point.
Not canonically.
I thought he did. Oh, maybe I'm making up
stuff.
No,
yeah, I think. Well, I'd have to reread the final book again, but it'll be totally happy times. But I don't. They mentioned that he flew away and didn't have contact with civilization. But unless it's stated in text that's what happened, I don't consider it canon.
No, it's not. It wasn't in the last book. It was more towards the beginning where this hawk, she lost her mate, and he was helping her get food to the chicks. Maybe I made it up in my head. That could be because it's been like 15, 16 years since I read these books.
If you can give me, evidence from that, or anyone the 4 or 5 of you that decided to watch this podcast and got this far along, comment below with, if that's something she made up in her mind.
In my mind, Rachel lives, and everybody's happy forever. Forever.
That's one of the creepiest faces, I mean.
Isn't that right, Kay Applegate?
Oh, my eyes are for doing that.
I just feel like she would. I feel she was like tired of everything. She's just like, everybody's gonna suffer now. You thought you were suffering before?
Yeah, that's a good way to write. You suffer, I suffer, so shall you. In my web series Chronicles of Gaia, chapter 3 is going to be a really happy chapter.
That's...
You're going to suffer, like I suffer.
So what was the scariest, saddest part of the book for you?
I think the saddest part we've already covered about the suicide. We've talked about that. Like we talk about that when then we stop for 15 minutes and we continue to talk. But the scariest moment, it has to be when they're nearly stuck in Wolfmore. And it's just like Tobias is like, hey, at least when I was stuck, I was something, that's able to do shit, and they'll be. Yeah, and then that also connects to the saddest point, one of the saddest points in the book, which I want to get to because I know you'll start talking and I'll forget, is that all the Animorphs, once they finally demorph, are just all happy, like, yay, we're not stuck, and Tobias is like, just looking at himself, looking at the wings that will never be hands, the talons that will never be feet, and just flies away. I was like, that's sad. I'm on my period, folks, so any emotions are totally not real.
Aw, come on. No, I haven't read these books in maybe about almost 20 years, and I still remember the wolf monster hybrid of being trapped. So yeah, that's a really striking.
In a kid's book.
Scene in that book. Oh my god. And
in a kid's book.
Was it like Marco who was trying to talk? He couldn't talk all the way, so he was rolled.
I can't remember.
Oh my god. Who wrote this? Oh, monster. I think we know who the true monster is.
Mr. Frankenstein?
Except K Applegate, our trash mother, who hates us.
Well, I sort of refer to it as Applegram since they, eventually really were the backbones of the series.
Who was?
Applegate and Michael Grant. So I've heard people combine their names into Applegram, so I started taking to that of referring to the Animorphs name.
Well, I think she was ghostwriting it by the middle of the book series. She was churning out a book every month.
Yeah, there were a bunch of ghostwriters that I heard. As I said, actually, in J Mondays yesterday, because for some fucking reason this came up again. I make everything about Animorphs. Is that I believe I had heard that she sort of prepared to work with her ghostwriters because she really knew what she wanted. So it's like, yeah.
She's like, she holds up a graph. This is what I want. And it's like just a pie chart of a solid blue, and this misery is the blue.
It's just big.
See this little sliver that says happiness? Get rid of it. No.
We can't have that shit.
You see this little one that says hope? No.
No.
No, actually you put the hope in and then you take it away to really crush them.
It's like, I grew up admiring Applegate, Josh Whedon, and Stephen King, so that really tells you how I view happiness. It's only there to be taken away.
You know what? I was like kind of a little bit further than the middle of the series. I was like, what, 15, and I had to be like, nope. I walked out of the bookstore because it was getting. I just read the back of the story, and I'm like, I have to go. Can't take this.
Like, I take it.
My 15-year-old self just noped myself right out
I
of the
didn't
bookstore.
say no. It was my crack. I actually had to have it taken away multiple times so I would read other stuff.
My dad, he read the first part, which is weird because I don't think he reads English that well. But anyway, and he's like, I don't like this book making me think that there are aliens around you, and I'm like, that's exactly what a Yerk would say. Suspicious.
Suspicious stat. Very suspicious.
To this day, I have doubts.
I don't have, in all honesty, I have a little bit of paranoia. Like, someone can say something totally harmless, like, hey, do you want to meet up? How are you going to kill me? Sadly, I'm not joking. I started 5 minutes thinking about the murderous plot. And now back in my innocent days, I read one that sort of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So that goes. I could never have trust.
I can never trust again. Thank you, Animorphs.
Thank you for my therapy. You need to be my therapy coach. Once I find a good therapist. Like the last one I tried to get, like I thought I had the insurance and everything worked out, and then like 2 days before the appointment, they're like, "We don't take your insurance." Oh, but if you come in and every appointment is at $250. Oh, sorry.
Did you try finding one for low income?
I still have yet to call the insurance again to get another list of therapists, but the thing is I don't like making phone calls, and when something bothers me, I push it away from doing it.
That's part of my therapy. That's why I need therapy.
Yeah, that's why now I have to go for probably 3 more months before I actually, have a therapist to call.
My therapist only charges me $5 a session because I fill out a little form. You should try looking at. Oh, this is an Animorphs podcast. Right.
Yes.
Well, actually, you'll probably need this information for everybody. Everybody who's watching this who read Animorphs. Yeah. So if you go to a place that trains students, they're pretty much at their end getting need their experience to get to graduate and everything. That's a good discount. So go there. The most they charge is $45, but I do $5 because I'm so poor.
Yeah, I know when I went to
Animorphs all the time.
I know when I went to St. Leo University, and then it just froze on that creepy ass face you did. I know when I went to St. Leo University, like the school counselor I would go to every now and again, because my therapist at the time was, 2 hours away, and then goddamn, the therapist I had before, the thing is I can't see him anymore because my new insurance doesn't take him. But I was finally getting really comfortable with them, and it takes around 3 or 4 sessions for me to actually be calm with a therapist and decide if they're actually helping me or not. I don't the first time, was look away, don't panic, don't run out of the room screaming. But they gave me a couple tests so they could, before the session, so they could properly determine me. And folks, if you want to go to therapy, ta-da! If you don't, this has been a Zone 91 PSA. Okay, so for final part.
Calm down a little bit. God, you're choking?
Okay.
Take a drink of water.
Inhaler.
Oh, get your inhaler out. Animorphs gave her asthma.
Probably. But anyways, now I'm actually going to have to switch to what type of backup inhaler I have because my new insurance doesn't refill it. And it's one of those crappy things where you have to take around 3 or 4 things that don't work so that they'll actually get to something that does work. But never mind about the broken medical system in America.
How did you?
I don't want to know. you'll never understand.
Go ahead.
The final part is rate the book, and since this is the same system I use on Josh Talks, and since you've never been on that podcast before, basically we rate it from 1 to 5 out of 5, and then you choose something related to the book, such as 3 out of 5 emo hawks, 4 out of 5 gay emo hawks, etc.
Okay, this book was, I felt a little like climactic ending to it. It kind of felt flat, and it was scarring emotionally, and also...
Oh, come on, it wasn't scarring. He wasn't like thinking that his girlfriend and his friends were all going to die, and so he was just doing one final act to do something. Because
oh my god. Yeah, they all thought they were all ready to die that day. Like, already. This is book 3.
And Tobias was like, I don't like not being in the action. So yeah, it wasn't emotionally scarring at all. Come on.
Okay, so basically they had this huge deal going on in the background. Mostly it was about Tobias. And
okay, bye, Dad.
I don't feel like it was dramatic, or it wasn't. Something's missing here with that plot structure. So that was a little weird.
Well, the plot structure is better than whatever the fuck structure this podcast had to it.
That's your fault. I ain't doing nothing.
I noticed.
So,
What?
3 emo hawks. For the wait, is up to 5?
Yeah, up to 5.
2.5 emo hawks. I give it.
What about gay emo hawks?
I do 1 gay emo hawk because they just had a couple mentions of Marco. Wait, no, because they forged.
The overall rating, it's not how many times it appears, it's just something related to the book.
Well, they really formed a better relationship, I think, with Marco saving his life, which did they ever even think Marco? And they want to say, oh, Marco's so snarky.
Well, the thing is, I don't think if Tobias had thanked Marco, it would turn out too well, because, he has a whole thing of trying to be all stoic and manly and such, so he wouldn't exactly accept it.
I must be a hawk. I am fierce.
No, that's Marco. Marco.
Oh, that's Marco. Marco is not manly. Please.
like juice.
I knew this at 9 years old. Marco is just... Wow. Marco is special. Now, I'm gonna give it 2 gay emo hawks for the relationship forged together in this book. That's been barely mentioned by Marco.
What's your overall rating of the book?
It was 3.
Okay, because the emo hawks such is the rating for the overall book, not how many times on.
No, I know. That was part of my rating process. It's barely mentioned. The gay emo hawk is barely mentioned. That's why it's 2. But the overall is 3 because the plot structure was weird. And I thought it was kind of anticlimactic. And they focused on the wrong thing. Or at least if they're going to do something like that, they shouldn't be... It reminds me of this book I read where they discovered an alien spacecraft that time traveled, and they focused everything on digging it up. That's it.
Oh, wait. Don't follow that. Copy the books. There. Tommy Knockers by Stephen King.
What's that?
It's an awesome book. It was a used book, so it didn't have the cover. It's basically there's an alien spaceship, and they dig it up, and shit gets really weird, creepy, and it's Stephen King, so you know.
Yeah, none of this happened in the book I read. It was just about, oh, the media is here to look at this time-traveling spaceship that was buried in our front yard, and nothing interesting happened. They're just like freaking out about digging it up and having the media there. And this kid got in there and he fell over the cliff, and that was like one of the major points in this list. Like, you have an alien spaceship that time travels, and all you're talking about is digging it out. So it's kind of like that. You're focusing on the wrong thing, or you're not putting enough of the interesting. It's like how, what's her name, Stephanie Myers. She has those two main characters, which are kind of.
Sorry.
He has those two main characters, and it's just like a kind of like a boring story. But everybody around them has like a really interesting background.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, I actually sort of like the books in Twilight. I probably wouldn't reread them, but they were like candy, you know. It's just like, this got published. And yeah, like the people around the background characters and the side characters are actually interesting. It's like, I want to learn more about this, but oh yeah, let's focus on Edward and Bella, because they're the heart of the story.
Yeah.
Let's not go back about the woman that Rosalind, I think her name was, that was raped and then, you know, murdered her rapists.
Yeah. So I feel like this kind of it was kind of Bella'd and Edward in here. It's gonna be the new adjective to describe what happened here. So that's why it's 3 overall emo hawks.
Huh.
She's getting a headache just by talking about Animorphs.
It's all the light, because I have the light from the screen, the light here, and usually I'm in the dark. Look at that. Like Batman. Oh god, I'm horrible with reading. Oh, now I'm feeling sleepy. My mind's like getting away. Run away from Cash. Run away. Oh god, I really did enjoy it. I mean, for when it was Tobias, I didn't really feel like anything was missing that much, because it had a nice emotional tone. There was some good action at the end. And the end of the book ends... Oh god, I actually have the line saved. I just don't want to get it wrong. Okay, Okay, read. I did. Okay, I believe I copied and pasted this here. Be happy for me and all. Be happy for me and for all who fly free.
No, Tobias, I'm not gonna be happy for you. You're a mess. Your family doesn't even know you're missing. It's messed up. That's what reminds me a lot about that song "Lost Boys" from the Neverland soundtrack.
Yeah,
I have the link here. Do you want me to put it into the group chat?
Hang on. Book. I want to say 5 out of 5 scarred childhoods.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 scarred childhoods.
Yeah, you can send it into the group chat. And I'm just going to do... What?
Nothing. So, I will allow this.
I would allow this. Ha 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 ha.
So what do I do now?
Oh, you didn't put it into the group chat, but did you click the little YouTube symbol on the side?
I did.
And if you allow things,
And it gives me an account to select.
and it says, and then eventually it should say add videos to playlist. or paste video URL. So you could just take the URL of the video and put it in and put it on. That's the first step.
Click on add videos. Why doesn't it just give me a button to click on when it says that? What are you doing?
Okay, add that.
It's not working.
Okay, I'm going to share a screen so you can actually see what I'm doing.
Can I give you the link and you just do it?
Yeah, you can do that. Put it in the group chat. Okay. Transfer. Okay, let me mute.
Be prepared.
Okay.
Be prepared to cry every time now you hear the song.
Okay, let's see. Oh, where the fuck are you, goddamn cunt? Sorry. I don't know what's happening. I'm clicking play and it's like, nope. Come on. Oh, fuck you.
It keeps saying you're playing the video.
And it keeps not.
It lies.
Okay, I'm gonna press one more time and see what doesn't happen. Hey, look what didn't happen. Oops. Fuck. Okay, let's try this again. So that was great. Great song choice.
Good work, Google Hangouts. You did so good. Not doing the thing that we wanted you to do.
Yeah, I mean, on Changing Mondays, every week we have a video of the week. It worked great yesterday. Don't die! Don't die on me! I can't have someone dying on camera. Wait till the end of the podcast.
It's taking my strength from me.
Google Hangouts.
Look what you're doing, you monsters! Okay, but this will be the end of the podcast. I'm going to mention the song I have for Tobias being the theme song for Firefly.
Okay.
You can't take the sky from me. It has that line in there. I don't care. I'm self-free. You can't take the sky from me.
And Lost Boys is something like, I left a town that never liked me, and it's a lot of stuff. It's so emotional. So emotional.
Okay, I have like some songs that I can't remember what song, luckily enough, or else I'd be like breaking down in tears. I would turn off the camera and sound so you would have no evidence. I can't remember, but it had to do with, I goddamn it, but it had to do with the character and then the song, and like I heard it playing in a restaurant, like, don't cry, Josh, don't cry. We can't hear you.
It claims it's playing, but it's not. Thank you, Google Hangouts. That was helpful. You're not doing anything again. We'll figure it out one day.
One day, far in the future. Yeah.
Is your Q&A disabled?
But I don't usually turn that on.
What if you have millions of fans trying to talk to you?
I've had it turned on before. I do not have millions of... It's like Josh talks, I think, today, the third day, it's up to maybe 4 or 5 views of the last episode. And it seems all hail the show, Binder is probably one of my more popular ones, because within a few hours it's got 5 views.
Oh,
so... It was a Q&A episode.
By the way, for everybody out there who ever had trouble with their camera, if your camera's not working, then you can go up to here and there's like a little bar.
YouTube is full down.
Yeah. Here I am.
So, thank you, Galaxycentaur, for where the fuck we just did.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Whatever the hell that was.
Watching.
Yeah, I mean, we went from like describing Tobias being gay, Tobias's emotional turmoil, to history lessons, PSA about therapy.
Dragons are sexy.
Dragons are dead. And next episode, I don't know when I'll be doing it or who my co-host will be, but I'll be covering the 4th Animorphs book, the message.
Oh,
where
they have it memorized.
I remember the books by the covers. Like I remember, oh, you mean the one where the Animorphs turned to such and such? Oh yeah, I remember what happens. I don't remember the titles as much.
It's the one where Jake was weirdly into his cousin.
Yeah.
I mean, every Jake book.
Okay, do you have any final words?
No. See ya, guys.
Okay. And until next video, goodbye.